Welcome to the Garden of Storytelling, episode number 7. Today we have Toney and Sarah Chem from 5 Borough Bagels. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is morning, huh?
I know, right?
It
is morning.
It is morning, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's almost noon, though. How are you guys?
Tired.
Tired? Well, you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You don't look tired
Thank
at
you,
all.
Thank you. I try.
And I know you
Try
guys
to
have a
not
lot
look
going
like-
on right now, so we'll go into that a little bit later.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to get to know you guys a little bit more. I don't really know you guys all too well. I know bits and pieces. So I want to start off by asking you guys where you both came from, where you were
Yes.
raised, and then we'll go from there a little bit. So Sarah, can I start with you?
Yeah, so I'm from New York, and I met Toney in
Union Square.
Union Square. I was
Get it
about to
right.
say Times
Get
Square.
it right.
Exactly. I met him, I want to say 2008,
Okay.
and we were best friends for a while,
Yeah.
but I was secretly in love with him the whole time.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And now, what part of New York are you from?
So I'm from Newburgh. It's about 60 miles north of the city.
Okay.
Newburgh.
Yeah.
So were you just visiting New York City at the time that you met Toney?
I eventually went to school down in Westchester, and then
Okay.
my sister, who's friends with Toney first.
Yeah, I was good friends with her first for like 2 years.
Yeah, and then
Before
she
we
introduced
met.
us.
Okay.
Oh,
And it was a
gotcha.
Crazy story, but we always
Martha
thank
Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Really?
Oh my God, that is so
I mean,
much.
she didn't
No,
really
for
do
real.
anything, but she had an event in New York City where I worked at,
Mhm.
who I met my future roommate, Natasha. And then
Ah.
Natasha used to live
With my sister.
her sister.
Oh,
And then
wow.
We trace
eventually-
it back to Martha. Yeah.
So thank you.
What
Martha
a
Stewart.
small world. You know, actually, speaking of Martha Stewart, one time when we were working at St. Kilda, I was sitting there facing the window.
We were eating at
We're
St.
eating
Kilda
it. Yeah,
and
eating.
working at the same time.
Yep. And then I said, God, that lady kind of looks like Martha Stewart. And just the way she was, and she was getting into the, and I was like, holy shit, that is her.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
her. Yeah, St. Kilda. So she was here
Oh,
for
wow.
a magazine shoot. For it's not Meredith anymore. It's Dot Dash.
Dot Dash. Yeah. We cater for them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Every Thursday.
Awesome.
I shadowed Martha Stewart when I was in New York City when I did catering events.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
wow.
Oh, that's
This
cool.
one time we were at Tiffany and Company, and they were doing like a wedding special there,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to bring out champagne for them, but I guess I missed that I was supposed to go before they said, all right, we're live. And so I'm bringing the champagne out, and then my boss is like, and I went like behind the pillar like this.
I know that kind of work environment. Oh my god.
For real,
You're
for real.
sweating.
Yeah, like oh my gosh, I can only imagine. That's hilarious.
Oh my
She seems like a boss lady, man.
I mean, she
Oh,
Martha
yeah.
Stewart?
I mean, she
I mean,
didn't
she is
say
a
one
gangster,
word to
man.
me. I had to take care of her dogs for a little
Yeah.
bit, but that was,
But you just have to remember too, they're regular people. So on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
image, they may
Oh,
seem
absolutely.
whatever.
Absolutely.
At home, they're probably smoking a joint with Snoop Dogg.
She's
you
a
know,
gangster,
like, it's just-
dude. I'm telling
yeah,
you.
just normal, you
Hell
know,
yeah.
like so. It's kind of cool to know that she has another side to her too. So
Yeah.
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
really neat.
She's
Yeah.
a true gangster.
So where are you from, Tony?
I'm originally from Pella.
Okay.
I was born in Iowa City, but I was living in Oskaloosa.
Okay.
But my family, we moved around. Like I was like I said, born in Iowa City. Eventually moved to Grinnell, and then before I was 5, my dad wanted to be a fisherman, so he brought me and my mom down to Louisiana,
Oh, wow.
Mississippi. Stayed there for a bit, and my mom's like, I can't do this
Uh-huh.
because her family's all in Iowa. You know,
Yeah.
Iowa
Yeah.
took a lot of refugees.
yeah.
And sponsored a lot of families, and included my family. My
Yeah.
family were one of the first people to come to the States.
Okay.
My
What
mom
year
and
was
dad
that?
were 1979.
That is
Oh, wow.
early.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
early.
They were
for
like
my
one of the
people,
first
for
ones.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Um,
So did they? Where did they come to in Iowa when they came in 1979?
I think they went straight to Oskaloosa.
Really?
Oskaloosa or Grinnell, but don't quote me. But,
Okay.
see, this is one of the reasons why I'm even doing this podcast too, because
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to your guys' stories, and it motivates me to wanting to know a lot more history in my
Keep
family.
learning.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they don't talk.
They
Those
don't.
OGs
Yeah.
don't talk.
Have you ever tried asking?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't.
I mean, it's more of like,
Yeah, like
just
what-
like when I ask about recipes and their food.
Yeah. Or they
That's a thing. That's ska. They don't give you any specifics.
No.
I'm like,
And a lot of
alright.
times I think that, obviously there's so much trauma that comes
yeah.
with where they came from.
Mhm.
And so it is kind of hard. I was telling Sully this, which is so crazy because mine was the opposite. Like my mom, now that I'm a mom myself, I used to think she talked a lot. I was like, gosh, I don't know any of these stories you're telling me. Like, I don't know. I can't even envision the space, And now that I am a mom, I feel like it was her healing therapy was to
Getting it out.
to speak her truth, even if it sound like she was just kind of mean or just like resentful. But then my dad, for instance, he passed away 6 years ago. I never heard anything about what he went through because he never talked about it.
Right.
He only talked about the beauty of the culture in the country and those
That's
kind
what
of
they
things.
want to remember.
Yeah. So
See, and that's his healing too.
yes, because
So it's confusing because
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So it's really but then it goes to show that you can heal in so many different ways, right?
Absolutely.
Because I don't think that my dad lived, at least I thought he lived such a fulfilled life, but then it also makes me wonder, is there anything he ever wanted to tell us that he didn't get to
Absolutely.
tell us?
And a lot of it too is pride. I feel we were
Yeah.
just talking about that on the way here. Things are completely different in our generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not, I feel like a lot of times they suffer in silence. And I talked about it in the last
Yeah, I
episode
remember.
too. And I feel like now we're the one generation that's opening the doors to like, hey, let's talk about it, because a lot of times we could be inspiring somebody, we could be helping
yeah.
heal somebody, and that's just so powerful. And the older we get, I feel like we always want to find purpose in who we connect with, right?
And I think that also comes along with the technology that we have now, right? Like being able to do podcasts, being able
Right, the
to communicate
platforms,
and
yeah.
openly, and just before, our generations before that didn't have that. So there was no inspiration unless it was amongst your group, right? So like literally all the information that we're receiving now is not just from our own little group. It's from multiple different areas and groups and whatnot. So I think the learning of our generation is awesome because now we can intake all this information. And it's unfortunately our generation before us didn't have that capability to have,
The openness, the
openness,
community,
yes.
because
Right,
their community is
just
closed in.
Being what's the word? I'm drawing a blank, but putting yourself out there completely.
Yes.
Being vulnerable.
And vulnerable,
Mhm.
yes,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
not fearing judgment.
Yes. And because that's the
Because-
thing is like growing up, I know we were always judged. Everything we did, we were just judged.
100%.
And yeah, and now like I am so
I don't give a fuck.
I love that. Hey, you might. Hey, we
For real
too.
though.
Let's go.
She's been waiting to say that for the 30 seconds.
Is it past 30 seconds yet?
Hell to the yeah. I
And
like
that's
that.
the
I
best
like
mantra
that.
to have is I don't give a fuck, because
Because I don't.
no,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
makes you live a happier life.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
not pleasing anybody.
I'm not happy all the time. Don't get me right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're who's
But-
supposed to be happy all the time though? Right?
Exactly.
That suffering in silence, when you said it goes a long way, you get eaten up alive inside, and it comes out in different ways, whether it's alcohol, whether
Yes.
it's gambling,
Yep.
whether it's
Yes.
abusing your kids,
Yep.
whether it's
It explains a lot about even our own past, like our
Yeah.
parents' past, right? So understanding all of this makes me understand my parents more. And then I think about all the people that I do know that has these issues, such as drinking and, all that. It explains it without them having to explain it to me. But how do we teach that? Like, how do we help them, right?
It's so tricky because either way you look at it, it can be used as a tool or a band-aid, in my
Yep.
opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if the person that's utilizing the substance or whatever it may be, is it a tool or a band-aid?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like anything.
It's
Because
so
you get survival
true.
mode at
It's,
all
it's,
times.
it's so true. It's because we're just using what we've been taught over the years, and especially for Asians. I mean, I think in minorities in general, I'm speaking for Asian culture in general. Like gambling and drinking alcohol is a part of the culture. It's
Yeah,
not.
we grew up
I mean,
with.
literally, you don't
See, I
accept
grew
a
up
drink
with
from
0
somebody.
alcohol.
Oh, really?
Really?
So coming into a family that is,
Yeah.
bumping.
See, like the whole
It
drinking
was
thing.
hard.
I struggle
Yeah.
with the drinking thing. Like I'm almost 3 years sober now.
Wow.
Wow,
Congratulations,
congrats.
man.
Thank you. Thanks to Sarah.
That's
to
awesome.
Well,
kinda-
you're doing it.
That's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard too at times, especially
course.
when I'm with my cousins and family and growing
Yeah.
up in the culture of drinking. And
Yeah.
for the longest time, I always thought, well, hold on. Is it the drinking the problem because it just became Americanized and there's drinking
Chemically,
ads
Social,
everywhere and
yeah.
all that stuff,
Yes,
social
yes.
gatherings? I mean, yes, that's a huge part of it. But hearing stories already, like as an adult from the past with my grandpa, with like a lot of other relatives
Yeah.
in Cambodia, they've got a lot of drinking problems there too.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
So
yeah.
it's not just American.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm learning that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad was an alcoholic before. Well, he was an alcoholic even when I was born. But there's 8 of us, and I'm the youngest, the only one born in America. So I didn't see my drunk dad. That version. My siblings did, and the stories I heard doesn't even sound like my own dad. You know,
because that's not what you knew.
No,
you know?
no.
Right, yeah.
So like when he had me, he was 48 years old. So
Oh,
when I was a
wow.
year old is when he decided to quit cold turkey.
Oh wow.
So he was 49, and then now so Sully's almost a year sober,
Yeah, I'm
March
almost a year
17th.
too.
Oh,
March.
congrats.
Yeah.
So
So
let's take a
he
shot.
Of
A shot of what? I got espresso.
So when Sully decided to stop drinking, his go-to was like soda water or like sparkling soda, something like that.
Absolutely.
Well, I always saw my dad with not ginger ale, Canada Dry.
Yeah.
And I
Ah.
tasted that and I was like, ew, that's disgusting. So I was
That
wondering why
feels
he
good.
it's good now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so good now.
Well, that means you're old.
Yeah. But now I understand that my dad was battling something so new and so fresh. And as a little
Yeah.
girl, I didn't know that, you know?
It kind of just it pulls on your heart.
It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I wish he was here so I can just ask him about it. Because I
Yeah.
think it'd be
Same,
very
girl. My mom
interesting.
passed away 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm
15
sorry.
years.
That's
Sorry. Heather.
And it's crazy to me because, like I said, my mom got tired of living by herself in Louisiana and Mississippi when my dad was a fisherman. So she's like,
Yeah.
she pulled me and my dad stayed there. So my mom
Mm.
raised me on her own. Uh-oh.
It's okay.
I haven't cried in a while.
Oh, I'm the
You're right,
queen
man.
of crying.
This is go. Get it out, Tony.
Yeah, you can get it out.
She's I just wish there's times where I could ask her all these questions.
Yeah.
And I want to be sure that kids who have their parents right now just get it all out there.
Mhm.
Ask all the questions
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
no matter what, they're gonna love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
forgot to ask those questions.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is they'll process it. Even if like they don't want to answer the questions we ask them, I think at some point they do process it because I know even with me and him, our communication, right? There's moments where we have these moments where we don't want to answer or we don't know how to answer because no one could prepare you to answer tough questions,
It's just
right?
so new.
It's super new.
It's super new.
So,
Right.
so what we've been learning to do is like, hey, we're gonna walk away, we're gonna process it and come back, right? Same thing with our parents. If there's questions that we want to know to be able to understand the history of where our family comes from, it's okay if they don't want to answer at that moment. But I do
Yeah.
think that we just keep on building the courage and and also give yourself credit for even asking, right?
Yeah.
But in your case, your mom is no longer here. So I completely understand, the sadness and the regrets. But how you can also move forward is now that you have a daughter,
Absolutely.
you can you get to redo the things that you weren't able to do with your
Yeah.
own,
And just know not to repeat those
Right.
Yes,
cycles,
exactly.
bad
And don't beat
cycles.
yourself up for it because I think
Yeah.
that's something that we live with as guilt. And I just don't think that
The guilt is so
it
real.
Yeah.
is, but I think once you accept that you did your best, like,
I
and be
did.
proud of yourself for it, like you didn't know how. Sometimes when you have parents, you think they're gonna live forever.
Shoot,
Yeah.
it was just like I'm the only child, and
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
felt like the struggle I had to kind of hide and always try to run away. Like all my cousins are basically my brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
and they lived here and there. My mom, she was drunk.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would come home, and she would be on the ground, and there was
Oh,
no food.
wow.
So I'd run away to my cousin's house
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
and get something to eat, come back, get abused, get physically
Aw.
hit.
By your mom.
Yes, because I went
leaving.
off for leaving.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I think
You
a
were
part of it was
hungry.
probably shame
yeah.
for her part
Yes.
because her sisters are probably on her and saying, "Why don't
Right.
you take care of your kid?"
Right.
this and this.
Mm.
And so, eventually, like 1992, she tried to kill herself,
Oh,
and I was a part of that, unfortunately.
really?
She told me that she was sick, so I had to keep giving her medicine, and then she had a blood transfusion that saved her life. She shaved her hair afterwards, and then she slowly became better.
Mm-hmm.
7th grade came by. My dad comes back into our lives, and it was like a perfect happy family. We bought a house, so we did, like I was proud at that moment
Right.
as a 7th grader.
Because you felt stability.
Yes, and
Yeah.
like I actually have a family now.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom got sick my freshman year. She was on diabetes, and then her kidneys failed. Dialysis
Oh,
happened.
wow.
So for like freshman year throughout senior year, I took care of her like nonstop while going to band. I was in like marching band,
Yeah.
and then I was in soccer. I worked. I came out with an album when I was 14.
Oh, so you do like singing? So that thing.
Hey,
that
we're
we
gonna
just-
gotta get a little bit of that
But
afterwards.
see, music saved me, and like
Yeah,
like
that's amazing.
it's healing. It's a process of healing for
Yes,
me.
yes.
And
Yeah.
when I did that album at 14, it was, I mean, it's embarrassing if you listen to it now, but if you listen to all those songs, it did help me.
It's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was a senior, I was like, I'm only 18. I just turned 18. I have to get the fuck out of here because
Yeah.
I'm a kid. And why am I taking care of my mom this much
Yeah.
when my dad's here, when her sister's here? And
Yeah.
out of I was rebellious, and I left. I went to New York City, packed up my
Yeah.
bags,
That's when you went.
went to New York City. I just turned 18, paid $1,300 for a small ass room with roaches and shared.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was crazy. But in the end, I met Sarah through it all too.
Yeah.
It's so crazy
Oh,
how
that-
life works. You know what I mean? We just listened to another speaker this past weekend at a real estate conference that we went to, and his story was so powerful. And your story kind of I think everybody's story, that everybody has some sort of
Absolutely. Yeah.
story, right? And I
Mhm.
think what I'm getting is that it always comes full circle in the end. Like you just never know what's leading you there. You never know what those
You have
tough
to
times
trust
are.
the process.
It is.
and
It
yeah.
truly is
Yeah.
trusting that
But
process.
sometimes, life, everyday life gets in the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know.
You know what I also realized from that speaker and listening to your story and thinking about my own, thinking about yours.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes sometimes our parents, sometimes when they pass away, they become our angels that helps guide us, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And it gives me this feeling, a sense of like that is sometimes a sacrifice that they give us as parents, and sometimes it's gone. It's when they're gone
Mhm.
that we actually see it, right? Because I feel like it can be when they're here and they're going through these issues that they go through. Would we be as supportive?
No,
I don't know.
I think that's the thing is loss in general. We talked about this many times. I think in my lifetime, I always look back at loss. I don't ever look at wins because I can count all the wins I've had on one hand, but in the losses, I can't. There's so many of them,
Yeah.
and I can recall them. And those are the things. That's why I said I hate losing. But those are the things that when you can recall on those big losses that made you change, it forces you to change.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no other choice, right? But
Yeah.
to deal with that loss that you've had.
But Tony can, he knows me so well.
Mm-hmm.
It gets confusing because my mom is alive
Mhm.
and I have no relationship with her. So
That's a loss in itself too.
Yeah.
though.
exactly, since
Yeah.
I was a little girl and
Yeah.
God gave me a little girl. So
Wow.
every move, every explanation of why not to do this or
Mm.
why we do it this way, it's all calculated to make sure it's explained correctly and not coming from a resentful guilt,
Yeah.
Mm.
anger,
I like
As
that.
adults, we both know that holding a grudge and blaming someone
yeah.
resentful is not healthy for you.
No.
And we just now have to learn that because they were that way, they had their own demons and issues too.
Yes.
They were struggling, or they are struggling.
Yes, exactly. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, sometimes as children of our parents, no matter how much we try to help with their trauma that they're dealing with, and it could go back generations and generations, we unfortunately just don't have the capacity to always do it. But we can always move forward with our own children and with our own lives, and and basically break some of that generational cycle that is happening. So
Yeah, it is
is-
generational. I agree because I mean, with our
Right.
kids, I'm so forward with my kids.
Right.
Like,
Just
I,
open.
so-
Yeah.
I don't hide anything from them. So I'm sorry, parents,
yeah.
if my kids have told your kids.
And being married to someone like Sully, like my parents,
But
I
it goes
felt
back
like
to not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Right, and
That's the
it-
judgment.
It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is
No.
because
Yeah.
I know, like for me, I grew up the opposite of Sully, where I was really, my family were super close. I had to follow a lot of rules, so I'm a rule follower. I don't know how
Not
to,
me.
and then I
Same.
marry someone that's the
Same.
opposite.
That's why you guys are perfect for each other.
Yeah, and
right?
he's still.
Tony's a rule follower.
Are you?
I am not.
See, it's a Cambodian thing,
Me
maybe.
neither.
I'm type B.
But I think it's
I was
because
scared of the hanger.
yeah, well, and it goes back to that, like, because you know that if you don't follow the rules, that you're gonna either get your ass kicked,
I was like,
just
oh,
all
only
these
a
things.
hanger, man. Give me the extension cord, right?
Yeah.
Just give it to me now. I'm ready for it.
So like now that we
I
have
just got
kids,
kicked and spit on. So.
they're all horrible. Like these are not things
Yeah.
that we can do to our kids.
No,
Absolutely not.
no. I mean, we can talk now. I mean, we
yeah.
can have a conversation and
And
literally have a real
And
conversation with
that's
the
all it
kids.
comes down to. I wish that my parents knew how to just explain to me why I couldn't do certain things. It was just more that you just couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, if I saw friends that do it, well, in my head, it's like they're bad, So then I'm judging now, right? I
that's
do
all they know,
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, it is.
When they were,
Yeah.
getting raised in Cambodia, that's the same thing that was taught to them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all they know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as I get older, I just learn to judge a lot less. Like I can walk around and meet the craziest person and still find some beauty in that person too,
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of cool to be able to grow up and be a little wiser and be more loving.
I think it's really important now. I feel like because we've been under so much stress
Yeah.
with the new
I
place
can only
opening.
imagine.
Yeah.
You guys got another baby. This is a true
my
baby,
it's
right?
another baby. It really
Mhm.
is.
It's been 7 years of planning,
Wow.
and I haven't felt this out of control because of stress in a long time.
Mhm.
So it's taught me to voice what I need.
Yes.
And I'll tell him straight up, like,
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
comfort.
Yes.
I need to laugh.
I love
and
that.
I need space.
I
We
love
do
Yes.
have to communicate very well to each other because
Mhm.
I'm sometimes in work mode.
that. Uh-huh.
Like another struggle that I was dealing with was I was on Adderall for like a year,
Uh-huh.
and it did help me because I have some sort of ADHD where
Okay.
I need to get all my thoughts organized.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I was taking advantage of it. But at the same time, I was not here.
Yeah.
Like it was
Sure.
just work, and I'm forgetting about my relationship with my wife.
And we
Mhm.
had just
My relationship
miscarried.
yeah, that too.
Oh,
So-
sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It was the timing, and then we had some staff member steal from us, and then
Ugh.
we went through renovations and all that stuff. It was literally like the same week.
Mm-hmm.
So
But maybe that's the like
it was like a sign.
that's like a sign, right? Like
Yeah.
your body itself in general. I think because we've miscarried a few times and had some
Sorry
bad
to hear
pregnancies
that.
and I think in those times that would happen, our life was also in
Oh.
kind of chaos, right? Like we were busy,
Shambles.
we were doing things,
And-
like we weren't on the
Yeah.
same page. I think the
No.
energy in general, when you think about a woman and you're carrying a baby, right? So like your hormones, everything affects your body. It knows, it tells like, hey, this shouldn't happen, or if it's a higher power, we don't know, right? Like all I realize when I see that things happen like that, there's always a good that comes out of things.
Well, we
that
were
are
just
bad.
watching last night, because going back to in the beginning,
Mhm.
Tony mentioned he needed a good cry.
Yeah.
So I pulled out videos of our daughter. She was born 3 months early.
Ugh.
So if you kind of get in the moment where you want to really go down memory lane,
Yeah.
she went down to 1 pound 9 ounces,
Oh my gosh.
and we were given this new life
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
on a platter with no warning.
Yeah.
And
And-
we struggled trying to get pregnant with Ari at first too.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
4+ years.
Yeah.
Did IUI
Wow.
and all that.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
the second pregnancy we had was natural. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is a God thing.
Yeah.
Like we're ready for this.
And the baby passed on the day his mom passed.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh, I got
gives me
chills.
goosebumps. I know.
Ooh.
I always feel like all of the dates have, I don't know numerology, but I feel like there's some
It's
sort
all
of
connected
it's all
because
connected.
we trace the time.
Yeah, it was. I never go to my aunt's house really,
Bella.
but because the last time I was there, my mom passed,
Mm.
and that
Not
was
last time, but one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the exact same night that our baby passed was
It was starting the process.
Thanks, I can get it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at my aunt's house, and
Wow.
And I'm
And
like,
around
you
the
need
same
to come
time.
home.
Wow.
Yeah.
so yeah, you need to come home.
Oh my word.
See,
But-
that full circle. I mean, it's
It
a
messed
weird.
me up.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's something, when you think about like miscarriages and stuff, when I went through it a few times, I never sat down to grieve, or my life went back to normal. And
Because you had no choice.
no choice.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm doing this podcast, or just, I was at a dance showcase the other day, and I'm just recording this song, because they won an award at nationals. And so then I was recording, and then all of a sudden I was like crying my eyes out. It was Adele. What was it called?
Someone like
Love. No, love. I can't love you in the dark. Love in the dark.
Mm.
And it made me, and it was the same day as the day that I lost my daughter Penelope. And when I was at the time, I remember Sully and we were just going through a lot of issues, financially, emotionally, all
course.
these things. And so
Yeah, we've only been married for what?
2 years,
2
well,
years,
one and
yeah.
a half, because we
Yeah.
got married in 2006. This happened in
Those are
February
tough
2008.
times, I'll
Yeah,
tell
so
you
this is the
that.
recession time.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I said, and it was the craziest thing, because I said to Sully, Sully said to me, because, I've never been one to express my feelings or like be open, just because like my parents didn't let me, right? So Sully goes looking, like there was a few more times that we've had issues in our marriage. And he's like, I feel like you want to leave me, but like you just can't because of the person that you are. And I was like, no, I never wanted to leave you. And I listened to that song and the lyrics and watched those girls dance. I started crying my eyes out. And then Valentina, my daughter, is sitting right next to me, and she goes, Mom, are you okay? And of course, like this is not the first time I've cried at watching people dance. So it's kind of normal, but, and then the mom next to me asked me too if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, this song is just so beautiful. I get,
Right.
yeah. So I get so emotional when I watch dances, I watch performances. I do cry normally.
You have a connection.
I
with
do
it.
have a connection with a lot of music and a lot of like just art in general. I have a huge connection with it.
Yeah, so does Tony.
Do you?
And
Yeah.
myself,
See,
yeah.
so it was so, and everyone knew that about me. So like it wasn't that normal. But then I got home and I was like, Sully, listen to this. And I haven't watched the video because I wanted him to also hear Valentina say, Mom, are you okay? But
wow.
it really brought, and I told Sully, I go, you were right. Like that is how I felt. I wanted you to leave. I didn't want you to watch me leave. So I needed you to go away. And if you listen to those words, that was how, and instead what I did was, remember we couldn't afford to go on our honeymoon in 2006. And so
Yeah.
I said to him, I was like, and I didn't realize what I was going through, but I was going through like basically depression, and I was like, I'm going to Mexico. And he's like, for what? And I was like, we never went on our honeymoon. This is why I feel this way,
Right.
and like we just lost our daughter. And so I thought going away would be the answer. And he's like, well, we don't even have money. I was like, we have a credit card. So we
Word.
so we booked it and we went, and I was in, the room a lot by myself, and he was in the pool getting drunk with
It's
random
like super
strangers.
intuitive. Like I knew, at that time, there's always times that I know I just feel like I have really good intuition with people in general. I can read a room pretty
Same.
well. Like if I meet
It's that
somebody,
empath life.
yeah, I really know if I want to be friends with somebody, or if I want to even talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I can really read energy. And with her, I've been with her long enough. I know her like the back of my hand, easy. Like
Her
she's easy to read.
Intentions are pure. And
Yes,
exactly.
and that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's I can read that and I can understand that, so it's easy for me to say that to her and be honest
And
with
be
like, hey,
honest, yeah.
I know you're
love
not
that.
strong enough to do that, but I am. I was willing to literally.
Same. You feed off each other.
Yeah, I
and
told her I was
like-
like, I'll
and-
leave. Like I will, because I understand that you need that space or
Sure.
you need that
Mhm.
capability to find
So
yourself.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But you know what's so crazy? And then for me, like in my family, I've seen lots of marriages where you think that they would leave each other, but they still stick around. My mom and dad's another one, for instance.
Same.
Yeah. And so I just, in my world, it's like you stay no matter what, right? You're going to work it out. My mom always says that even till this day, she'll say that she'll never regret any moments with my dad, even if it was bad times,
Mhm.
So in my head, that's how I viewed marriage. And for him to tell me how I'm feeling was like, you're freaking crazy, But then when I heard those lyrics, I was like, oh my gosh, that just hit me to the core.
It's so similar.
Yeah.
Like, look at the sign of we're not like into signs, but like if they're presented to us, we're like, okay, just walking into your home. We literally have the same mulch,
Same gate.
Yeah.
Same
mulch,
gate.
Same trees.
Same trees.
Same bench.
So there's a lot of
Same mats.
similarities.
Sounds like same
Same mugs.
personalities too.
Yeah. That's why.
hilarious.
See, yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
love
with y'all on
that.
Easy.
that.
So we
Easy.
get each other on many levels,
Yeah.
where we don't have to be anyone we're not because we can see it right through each other,
For real.
So
Easy.
yeah, I love
100%.
that.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes.
Hey, Tony, I'm gonna have to take your wife on a date because we so much alike.
And
We
then
could.
It might be
We're gonna
scary.
cry listening. We're gonna go to a
Yeah.
concert.
Hey, all we're gonna be doing around sitting around
I'll just be
cussing,
singing and
Smoking.
smoking.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
No. Not
Well,
anymore.
speaking of, the first time we met each other, she had a Newport in her hand. Newport 100s.
Leave me alone.
That's a gangster.
What's
She's a
a
gangster.
What's a Newport 100?
Oh, girl.
Wasn't that Barack Obama's
You
choice
don't-
of a cigarette?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Because they're so
menthol. It's a
good.
menthol.
They're so
What?
good. They
What's
hurt
a,
so good.
What's a menthol? I
my-
guess do they
Oh,
not?
girl.
Well, you guys, I don't.
Cigarette 101.
You guys,
My guy.
yeah. So I like. Okay, so my niece is 1 year younger than me. So when I was 18, she had me go buy cigarettes. I had to practice it, like, and I'd be so nervous, I'm
Marlboro
like,
Light 100,
yeah, and then
Marlboro Red.
yeah, and then they're like
Crush.
hard or
That's
soft.
my
and
sister. I had to coach her on what to say to buy me cigarettes.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I've
have
been
no
buying cigarettes since I
idea.
was a kid. My dad would literally he'd send us
Yeah.
up to the corner store. Remember that?
Because you would just steal it. You wouldn't buy it, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You remember that?
Were we just talking about
Oh my
that?
gosh!
Yesterday.
Remember?
Well, because Alvina told us to.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Alvina's your cousin, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
Fucking love
Yeah,
her.
that's right.
Love
that's
that
right.
bitch.
Yeah,
shit.
she's our kitchen lead.
She's the best.
She's
awesome.
awesome.
God, I love her.
Speaking of cigarettes, oh God, what's Naki's grandpa, Savak's dad.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember Savak's dad?
If I saw his picture.
Okay, well, he always came over to our house and he always smoked Camel cigarettes.
Mhm.
And when he'd leave, his pack of cigarettes would be left there, the empty one. It would have gold in there.
Yeah.
So we'd take it. And
Shut up. Oh, I love that.
Because I didn't have any-
But you leave the cigarettes.
Yeah,
you just take the foil.
No,
Like,
so
oh, it smells.
yeah, so I don't have any like experience with cigarettes, but when I think of cigarettes,
We
I
can
think
change
of the
that. No, I'm just
Run,
kidding.
run
I can't do it.
DMC.
Girl, I can't. I can't.
I'm sorry.
But that's
Oh, my
so
goodness.
funny.
Yeah, it gives me a headache now, but I haven't touched a cigarette since Atlantic City when Pi
Yeah.
was with me.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
when he came to visit me in New York City, and then
What
I had
year
one
was
out in New York
that?
City. Oh shoot,
That
I don't remember.
was because we moved here 2012.
it's probably like 2009.
Wow, that's
And-
cool,
Oh,
man.
dang.
I
That's
can't
awesome.
How long
remember.
have you guys been back to Iowa?
11 years.
Oh my
10 and a
gosh,
half.
it seems like 5 years, but I guess
Okay.
But it's been longer.
So when did you guys start
the business.
the first
I
business?
guess we should start.
Oh shit.
about
Yeah,
it.
bagels.
Bye, Borough Bagels.
Oh yeah. Well, oh god.
2014 when we lived in our townhouse, but then we started playing around with the idea with 2015.
Well, one rainy night, it was either
Target.
Tuesday or Thursday because I remember it started with a T and I don't remember which day. But went to Target and we got the ingredients and I'm like, we need to make New York style bagels because I was just craving them so bad, and so had no idea what we were doing. Just bought all the stuff,
Just
made
fucking
it.
around.
They were so humongous. I have
This is in
pictures
Iowa,
of them.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And we just whipped together random cream cheeses.
Mhm.
We put like sriracha in one, and then like
Bacon.
yeah, sriracha bacon. That's how I was born. And
Oh, dope.
we took one bite. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
Bomb.
Tony, we need
They're
to
good.
open a shop.
I fucking love
And he
that,
was like,
man.
okay. And then I was like, Okay.
Yeah. Because we wanted to eventually work for ourselves, and at that time I was
I wasn't scared. I wasn't joking.
Yeah, what were you guys doing at the time when you guys
I was a supervisor at the restaurant bar at Marriott.
Okay.
And I was an art director for a magazine company.
So we put my hospitality
And
experience and then her marketing
yeah.
I love
put it together.
I called my dad the next morning, you know, because we're like BFF, and I'm like, bruh, we're opening a bagel shop. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, just go with it, okay?
That's so dope.
Just chill.
Oh, but he's been with us since the long run.
He's our
and still
biggest
now.
cheerleader.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
so
I love
cool,
that.
man.
So when
Yeah.
did you guys know business before that?
No.
No.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Because I grew up in my dad's shop.
Okay, what's your
yeah.
dad?
He was a jeweler for 30 years in New
Oh,
York.
really? I have a jewelry stint. I used to be a jeweler.
Yeah.
That's how I
How long
leave
did
to check
I
them
think?
out.
I think I worked
Gold,
at
yeah, yellow gold. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, my bus would drop me off there every day, and I would take naps in his office. I would help him close. I would vacuum, you know, just random whatever. So it was my normal,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
seeing the struggle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And when I struggle now, because we definitely do,
Yeah, absolutely.
I call him
Yeah.
because he understands.
Yeah.
So
what
cool.
are some
you
of
have
the
a
biggest?
built-in mentor.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is really nice.
Yeah,
to have.
that's
Yes.
so nice.
But keep in mind, his views, you know, he's Middle Eastern.
Okay.
When he talks, he yells.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you just chill the fuck out for a sec? Like, just lower it a little bit. You know,
But they mean well. They mean
absolutely.
well. Yeah.
And I know that. But
Yeah.
like, if I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, please stop yelling. Just comfort me.
Chop yum.
No, but yeah, he's our biggest cheerleader.
That's
I
so
love
dope.
that.
Yeah.
What is your biggest struggle with your current business?
I know what it is. You want to say it?
I would say good help.
Mm-hmm.
There's everyone there that obviously wants to work to get paid for
Yes.
that money.
Yep.
And but there's others who are not committed. There'll never be anyone committed as
Absolutely.
As the owners.
And
yeah.
it took us years. Like, you hear that statement,
Yep.
and you're like, whatever, shut up. But it doesn't hit you until it hits you.
Oh, I
Yeah.
feel that.
And then you're realizing it's literally just us two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That is probably one of the hardest things I think for any entrepreneur, right?
Mhm.
To find, not only to find, you already are finding the passion in yourself, right?
Right.
As you're growing your passion
easy,
for this.
yeah.
It's easy. But trying to find others to share that passion with.
Even a
it's-
portion of
yes,
it.
it's
Yes.
very, very
I can't
difficult.
force you to show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can make, when you show up, I can make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and then I'm the one that's always, you know, crazy and running around screaming, scaring people and
She still
twerking.
does.
I want to go behind the scenes one day.
Okay, so I am gonna, especially Alvina, because you can scare her so easily. I'm gonna start recording them.
Yeah.
I have to. It's too good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, going back on that passion part, for example, this podcast thing, this wouldn't have happened without Bopha, right? She bought this equipment for this
2 years
podcast
ago.
2 years ago. She's like, hey, you should do a podcast.
So I
I was
think he
like,
has a-
girl, I ain't got, when do I got time to do a podcast?
I think he has a wealth of knowledge, and I
Right?
wanted him to
So I was
share
like,
it.
maybe you do this thing. Right? You fucking do it then, all right? So I turned it back on her, and it took her forever. Finally,
Sounds like us.
this past Christmas, you know, she's talking to my nephew Richard, and you know, they're like, because I told her, like, you need to find people who have passion for it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't do the production. I'm not. You're asking the
Find
wrong
people who
motherfucker.
know what they're
Right.
doing in their
Right.
own lane.
Stay in
Yes.
your own
Yes.
lane.
Because
Your lane.
I knew that I just couldn't do it myself. I didn't even know how to do the editing part.
Right.
So when Richard, you know, he wants to do all that part, but doesn't have the talent, right? So then when we were just talking on Christmas Eve, I was like, it's meant to be, because I need someone like you, and then he needs someone like us, and
Yes.
it's just it works great, and
It
I
fits.
love working with
Mhm.
Richard. And it's funny because I feel like before. I didn't know Richard that well, even though he married. So the girl that he married, she's Cambodian as well.
Uh-huh.
So she always hung out with all my nieces. So she's the only one that was not my niece growing up. Then all of a sudden, I marry Sully, so then Richard becomes my nephew, and then he marries the girl that always hangs out with my niece. So now she's like my niece. So it's kind of cool to be able to be connected and to get to know even Chico like deeper. Because you know what, when we get on this podcast, sometimes we start talking deep. We're going through. It almost feels like therapy. Sometimes therapy we never had with each other,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
we get to support each other through it. You know, and we have each other like, but we don't talk about these things. We don't
I mean,
even.
that's the Asian thing.
Yeah.
It truly is. Like, literally, you could be brothers and not talk to each other.
My
like,
three
literally
brothers.
walk into the door
True.
and not even say hi to each other.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
It's so freaking weird, man.
and that after a while, it becomes toxic.
yes.
Because you don't realize, like, you're putting energy into actively avoiding something
it's
or
so
someone.
weird. I
Yeah.
have
Like,
Yes.
no idea why
It's
that
built
happens.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Your
that's
brothers all talk to you guys all.
Yeah,
you
we
guys
do.
all
I mean,
fight to talk.
we
I mean,
are,
it's
yeah.
not all toxic,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It,
No, I
it takes
agree.
effort.
It does
I
take
don't.
effort.
I'm the only
Yeah.
child, so I don't know.
Shut up.
Yeah, and well, your cousins, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's almost better to have a relationship with your cousins because there's like no judgment. I feel like.
My sister and I used to pull each other's hair out. I'd beat her ass.
She older, you said?
Oh yeah.
Well, the
Okay.
cops came because you put ketchup on her while she's taking a shower.
No, that was a different time.
Oh,
my
shit. Man, that's
gosh.
a good story.
Yeah.
Catch up in the shower?
Yeah, she's so type A. She's like scary type A.
Oh,
I love
shit.
you. I love you. You know you're gonna watch this. But yeah, she's like me and my brother-in-law call her R&R rules and regulations because you know she got them rules and regulations and I don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I smoked weed in her house. And my brother-in-law was like, "How did you convince her?" And I'm like, "Bruh, I got it.
Oh my
Just watch.
gosh,
Just
that is
watch."
so funny.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
she was
Oh my
fine.
gosh.
You
That's
see
excellent.
why I was friends with her sister first.
Yeah, R&R, completely different.
You need that,
And
though.
yeah,
you know,
you
people
do.
who are type A need a little bit of that, you know.
yeah, take the edge off,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
vice versa.
I can be a little
He-
crazy though.
He puts me in my place.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's healthy to do that.
you have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's what I tell with our staff from day one. You know, we're open.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold you accountable.
I love it.
I just whatever happens in this here, we're gonna just enjoy it together, and we go home.
Yep.
That's
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
It's so easy. It does not have to be, you know,
Yeah.
so much drama and
Yeah, I mean, coming from like running a small business. I mean, at the end of the day, you're a small business, and having a small business with trying to, it goes back to where people kind of count your money or think that you're just super, you know,
yeah,
rich.
people have
or
no
doing-
idea.
Yeah.
No one has no like all the amount of money
No.
you're borrowing against to just even have this business. People
Oh.
don't even understand that. You
Yeah,
know?
Right.
exactly.
The capability of running a business of such, especially when it just drum up in your kitchen, in your own kitchen,
Yeah.
Right.
into this dream now that you're moving into the second location. When do you guys open on the second location?
On Wednesday.
Oh,
Soft opening Wednesday.
Wednesday, yep.
And then the grand
Okay.
opening is
Friday.
on the 10th, Friday.
Exciting.
Friday the 10th. So that
Yeah.
means when this airs, that means 2
Oh.
days, y'all.
Well, it airs on
Right.
Wednesday, so
Airs
the
on
soft
Wednesday.
it'll air on the
Oh,
soft
cool.
opening day.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
a sign. See another sign.
See another
Yeah.
sign. Yeah, that's
easy,
perfect.
flowing, being open.
That's so awesome. Where's the second
Yeah.
location located, guys?
It's in Urbandale, right across from the Super Target.
Okay.
Yep.
Really?
11101 Plum Drive.
Yes.
Perfect, and we'll have that information ready for our viewers as
Yeah.
well too. So
There's a whole factory in there.
we went
Mhm.
actually. We had a
Yes.
meeting there.
That's
and we,
right.
We
Yes,
went in
yes,
there,
yes.
and
Yeah, tell
I
me about that a
saw.
little bit more about
Yeah.
what you guys got going on over there.
Yeah, so basically, if you rewind to 8 years ago, we had nothing to begin with. But if we were really going to pull the trigger and do this,
Yeah.
we had to find authentic dough,
Yeah.
get sent in.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
there's no way we could have afforded the equipment
That
or even a
equipment was
portion.
ridiculous. Yeah.
So we found, believe it or not, a local bakery in Long Island that they ship nationwide.
Wow.
So they ship frozen, that's raw. They ship
Yeah.
par baked. I mean, everything fully
Yeah.
cooked. So we took a gamble, and we're still, to this day, we have 15,000 bagels coming tomorrow.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh!
So it's a transition that we're now able to take control of.
Mhm.
Cut that out of the equation. Now we're gonna make it ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't want to invest all of our money
We
into
couldn't.
the
There's no way.
bagel equipment. We wanted to introduce the Midwest to New York style bagels,
Yeah.
real bagels.
Our one of our goals though was, like you're just saying, introduce what we loved and we ate every day on the way, on the
Yeah.
subway, bacon, egg, and cheese,
Yeah.
Yeah, once we had a following,
Easy.
once we had a following, it was awesome, and especially during COVID, when that hit, it was just like another thing. Like, well, what do we do now? Like, are
Yeah.
we closed? What do we do?
We saved up a nice chunk and we're gonna invest it into Urbandale.
Yeah.
That deal originally kind of fell through,
Yeah.
so we put it all towards renovating the new place
Nice.
in the middle of the miscarriage and everything.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
then we get a call, hey, Urbandale is let's
Open
do
again
this.
with new owners.
I'm like,
Yep.
bruh,
Oh my
I got
gosh.
nothing left.
So yeah, now
So
we have.
so how do you guys take care of yourself and each other during all of this craziness?
We get a hotel every other weekend at the Serenity Hotel and
Is that
have
true?
some time.
Is that true? Is that a true story?
It's true.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I like
Some of that
that.
good shit.
I like that.
Ah,
Are you
okay.
subscribed to Blue Chew by any chance?
Oh, Yeah. Oh, I lost track of. I lost.
Oh,
my-
you got that bothered, huh? Bringing back some memories there.
It's been a couple weeks, so
Okay.
due.
Okay.
But anyways, I have my routine. Tony makes fun of me every night, and I don't care because
It's cute.
I have to make the bed before I get in it. I am the most messiest person.
Make
But
the bed before she gets in it. That's
Oh, that's
me.
you. That's terrible. Yeah.
I will throw my that's just who I am. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I cannot get into a messy bed.
Me
So
neither.
my
That's why I
daughter.
make it in the morning.
That's why I
Right.
just
See-
told her to do it. Start doing it last night.
But
Treat
I get.
yourself.
I was like that as a little
enjoyment.
kid. Like I would make the bed before I went to bed, and then
Yes.
my niece was like, "Why did you do that?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Because I'm too lazy to do it in the morning, and I
Right.
can't get in there
I can
unless
sleep
it's
on
like
anything.
yeah.
I'll sleep on the ground next to my
I mean,
mom.
same.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. Like I could fall asleep, like just sitting up.
Yeah.
But with my daughter and him in the bed, I will take all the blankets off, and they're just like, and I'm like, I need it.
And
to
then we
be
Yeah.
got 3 cats and 2
Oh
dogs.
my
Oh
gosh.
man.
And
And a daughter
they're all in the
in there.
bed.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
I
that's-
I don't like to move my pets when they're sleeping.
yeah.
So if I'm one of those people where
Yeah.
I'll leave so they can sleep in my spot.
Oh
So
my
I go to the-
gosh.
I go to
Yeah.
living
See,
room.
I'll roll over. I'm like, where is Tony? And there's like 2 dogs right there. I'm like, oh,
There's
okay,
Tony.
got it. Yeah.
Oh,
I get
love
it. So
Yeah.
now I understand the hotel thing. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Gotta run away.
Yeah. So who watches your daughter?
She's in the car. We got some sitters.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you guys get babysitters.
A very
and stuff.
trusted few.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
And we have roommates too.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
Shout them out.
Slash cousins.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So our house is very loud and eclectic.
yeah.
So when
But
I
we
need to
love
get
it.
away, I get away.
and that's
Yeah.
how we grew up. We grew up
Right.
in a house
I
full
grew
of
up
people.
complete opposite.
Oh, really?
really?
I was like,
No
when you-
one came into my home.
Oh, like
Literally.
like our
Literally.
house. Like we could be recording, my whole family would be walking
Yeah.
in. Our house is just
It
like,
happens all the time, quite
Yeah.
often.
We,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's an open door policy at our place, and we're always
That took
together.
time to get used to. I'm
Well,
not
that
gonna
means
lie.
open door for the family, all right, y'all. So don't be
You know-
showing up at my house.
You know what? Oh,
just
hell
trying to
no.
walk in,
You know
eating my food and drinking my,
You know what's so funny? So my sister, she's in her 60s, I believe. And her daughters are all dating now. She goes, oh gosh, they're dating like Americans. She's like, are they gonna let me go over their house anytime?
Yeah.
She's like, she goes, Asians at least they like know, they understand that
Yeah.
that we can't just go in the house, because
Yeah.
my sister, she's heavily involved in her daughters,
Mm.
It's,
Yeah, and like take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole different story, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Yeah.
You come to my house with your shoes
So I'm
on.
glad to hear that you have some sort of getaway for yourself.
I mean, it only happened twice in 5 years. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it's new. It just
Okay.
started.
okay.
Well, keep it happening. I
So-
think that's really cool.
So what's your day
we've actually
like
heard
then?
that.
What's your day like?
Like
Like,
our day.
yeah, from when you guys
The
open
night before we go to bed, we plan out the next day on like who's doing what. I have this meeting. You have this
It
meeting.
literally changes every day.
Okay.
For
changes
real.
by the hour.
Especially
I mean,
with this new
our
place opening
refrigerator
up.
can break in 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we
that's,
don't know.
That's our goal, though, is just to have that stability.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
right now, everything's all up in the air.
We're
and
used
it can
to
be a little
things-
chaotic.
Is
We're
there anybody
used to
else
it.
that helps you guys run your business, or is
Yes.
it just?
Oh yeah, my
Okay.
my
Yeah.
cousin
Oh, okay.
Pin, he's our supervisor.
Oh,
He helps
nice.
out a lot,
Yes.
and he just moved back from California. And without him right now, I mean, we'd just be kind of lost.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I just
Yeah.
met Pin
Yeah,
a few weeks
yeah.
ago.
He's the one that
Yeah.
hustled me, remember?
Oh, yeah, you did say
Yeah,
that.
he hustled me.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he knows
man, he
how.
really did. I went to go buy we were at the Bacon Fest.
Serenade.
Serenade.
I was like, hey,
Fall
you
contest,
you
right?
get change for this because it's like 2 for 20, but I just wanted one.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, you got change for 20? He's like, why don't you just buy 2 of them? And I was like, what? You're right.
You right?
You're
Yeah.
right, damn it. Let's just go ahead and buy 2
There
of
you
them.
So
go.
when
right?
Pin walked into our meeting that we had, so I was like, hey, that's the guy that hustled me.
Now, anybody who can get you to buy something more than what you wanted to buy, that's
Mm-hmm.
a hustle, man. I got hustled.
Yeah, you need
Right.
him on your
He's working at the
team.
Borough. He's rubbing off.
Yeah, that's what's up, dude. That's so
I
cool.
love
I
it.
love that.
Well,
That's good.
I appreciate you guys coming and
No,
chatting.
this was a blast. Thank you for having
So
us.
fun.
Yeah,
I
once
love-
again, when's the grand opening?
Friday.
March 10,
Yes.
and in Urbandale, 11101 Plum Drive.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And then soft openings on Wednesday. Is that open to the public?
Just invite only.
Invite
Oh,
only.
never
Oh,
mind.
so
I
if
lied.
when
you
we
didn't
get
get
to
an
mess
invite, don't even try to show
Sorry,
up on Wednesday.
I-
right?
yeah.
It's okay. Just don't judge. 'Cause it's gonna
Remember,
be
we're teaching people not to judge.
Yeah.
exactly.
So
No judgment, all right,
Yeah.
Hot
y'all?
mess.
yeah, and soft openings should be for the people that has been there for you guys and
Right.
supporting you and
Yeah.
all that
Right.
good stuff. So
That's
Oh
what's
yeah.
up.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Well, thank you again so much, and I can't wait to have you guys back. I want to hear the post opening.
That'd be fun. That'd
Yeah.
be a fun podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really,
Yeah.
really fun too.
Mhm.
Well,
Definitely have to link up again.
yeah. Well, thank
Yes.
you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to thank Sarah and Tony for coming in today to talk to us. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye.
Yay.